Oh, hey. Hey. Hi. Hey. Hey.
As far as I can remember, sports have always been a part of my life. I pretty much played every sport that a girl could until I had to choose which one I could play. I chose to play soccer, and I played soccer from ages 3 to 18, and at the time I wasn't aware of all the benefits of playing sports. I just played because I enjoyed the game. But more and more research has come about women's participation in sports. And with this speech, I hope you learn the importance, the evolution, and the barriers that come with women in sports. There are many benefits that come along with physical activity, which make participation in sports very important because it's an easy way to get exercise, especially for children. First, it helps with the prevention of osteoporosis. There was a study of 1st through 5th graders that showed that children who participated in at least 10 minutes of jumping or strength training exercises of vigorous intensities found improvements in bone health for both genders, especially for youth before puberty. It also helps with depression, and moderate levels of physical activity in women have been proven to help prevent depression as well as tame the side effects that come along with depression. And speaking of depression, it helps with preventing suicide because women with major depression who participate in physical activity were actually less likely to have excessive guilt and make suicidal plans, as well as high school and collegiate athletes were less likely to plan, attempt, and consider suicide. Past the physical benefits, there's also educational gains that come with participating in sports. And the educational gains is that physical activity can help with attention span, which has a positive correlation which is necessary for the classroom. There's also been association with more varsity athletes being involved in advanced placement science classes. With all these statistics about how necessary it is for women's participation, it is also important to look at how far women in sports has come over the time. The evolution has made an immense progress with the main help of Title IX. Title IX was a bill passed in Congress in 1972 that gave women equal rights in sports because it prohibits discrimination against girls and women in federally funded educational institutions, and that includes their athletic programs. Between 1972 and 2011, the number of girls competing in high school sports went from 295,000 to 3.2 million, and it went from less than 30,000 to over 193,000 in collegiate sports. Despite the rise in women's athletics, the amount of women's coaches has actually gone the opposite direction. And in 1972, women had more than 90% women coaches, and that has now gone down to just 47%. As far as I'm concerned, women have come very far in sports, but there are many obstacles and barriers that still stand in their way of fully participating in sports. Two main barriers, though, are cultural and economic barriers. Cultural barriers in many countries, women are not allowed to participate in athletics. It is only considered for male, and there has been a move to recently change a lot of that. In 2012, actually, Saudi Arabia went from its with having just male athletes to sending their first 2 female athletes to the Olympic Games. They had a woman compete in the judo as well as a woman compete in the 800 meter. It had previously been prohibited by Saudi Arabian law to have women at the games, but there was a big push by the Olympic Committee to change this. There is actually a specific committee for the women and on the Olympics, and it's called the Women in Sports Commission, and they were the ones who actually called for the Saudi Arabia to permit the women to compete. As far as economic barriers go, women who are at a disadvantage economically have a very good chance of also being at a disadvantage in the athletic world. Money can be the difference between safe and unsafe athletics. Unsafe venues such as open parks and community gyms can be unsafe because of the lack of security for young girls. Athletes who can't afford proper commitment are also at increased danger, and the way that money affects it is it's also cost effective to just participate on a team. Going from 295,000 female athletes to 3.2 million in almost 3 years is an incredible improvement. Even though there are many of those barriers in the way, the importance of women's success in athletics seems to be prevailing. there have been a handout that I've given, and it just gives the examples of the Saudi Arabian laws that were passed for them to participate, as well as a graph for that shows the increase of women from 1972 to 2011.
Nice.
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 Pretty good.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, one more time for the crowd.
Nice.
Woohoo! Woo!
Yeah!